Hello, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome back to the Armchair Booking Wrestling Podcast. I'm your host. My name is Stunning Steve Barber, and joining me is my awesome co-host, as always, is the intellectual rock star himself, Delicious Joylan Davis.
Hey, everybody.
And for those of you on YouTube, you can already tell that we have a guest again, and we've actually already announced this, but we have with us tonight Miss Savannah Sweet from the Northern Wrestling Federation. How you doing, Savannah?
I'm good. How are you?
Doing all right. Thank you for coming on the show because we've actually been talking about this for a little bit, having you on, and we're finally able to make it happen. And right before Revolution Rising.
Yeah, it's a big weekend. I'm really excited.
Oh, you sound like it. uh, what to say? She's
A
like
long
one of the.
day.
She always has that kind of nice, cool and calm demeanor about her. So that makes me kind of
Mhm.
scared if she ever gets like mad. You know what? Yeah, it'd be like a Jekyll and Hyde kind of situation. But but before we get started, and this is one of the things one of our friends, Ted the Hillbilly Hill from the Hill Truth podcast, he pointed out to us and everybody else. He said that a lot of people don't make it to the end of podcasts, and so we want to go ahead and give people your social media information, whatever you want to give them, for the Savannah Suite, because I know you have a Facebook page. Well, what else do you have?
Yeah, so I have an Instagram, which is at Real Savannah Sweet. And then I have a Twitter, which is at Real Sav Sweet. And then I also have a TikTok, which I'm starting to work on. And I believe that's at Real Savannah Sweet as well. So I'm trying my best. I'm really not good at it. And it's so hard to like post regularly, but I'm trying.
Oh, and one thing I forgot to add at the beginning, and I feel kind of remiss about this: the PGWA Rookie of the Year, Savannah Suite.
Yes.
Congratulations.
Thank you so much.
Very
I
well
was
earned.
surprised.
You shouldn't be surprised. I've seen you in the ring. I know how good you are. You know, so um, so you were surprised to actually get that award. I mean, how do they tell you? They just call you and say, "Hey, it's it," or do they surprise you at a match?
Big Mama actually told me that I had won it, and I just remember I knew they do it every year, but I just wasn't really sure. Because I mean, I'm still a rookie. Like this is about my second year into wrestling, but I wasn't really sure where they were gonna go with it. With being in school and stuff, I feel like I'm not always at wrestling, so I feel like a lot of guilt sometimes winning things, I guess.
No, I wouldn't feel guilty. I mean,
Nah.
you worked your butt off for it. I can tell.
Yep.
Uh,
Yep.
so, so you said you've been in wrestling about a year, right?
Uh, it'll be my it'll be 2 years in July since I started
Okay.
training.
Okay. So, what got you into wrestling? Like, what's your background? Were you in high school sports or anything like that? And so what made you say, "I want to be a wrestler"?
I got into wrestling when I was a young girl. Probably when I was like 8 years old or so. I had like the SmackDown versus Raw, like video games. My
Hmm.
sister played them, I played them. My dad was into wrestling, like 80s type of wrestling and stuff. So I eventually got into it and was hooked. I like love all the girls, and to me that was really cool to watch. Um, was obsessed with it. I used to do like competitive cheerleading
Hmm.
Okay.
when I was a kid. And I think wrestling made me kind of stop cheerleading because I was like just so in love with it and wanted to go home and watch it all the time. Um, I did do soccer, but I always felt like cheerleading and like gymnastics is closer to my heart.
Good.
Uh, so who were some of your favorite wrestlers?
Growing up, I was obsessed with Lita and Trish. I know everyone says that, but I really, really do love them. Like I used to watch, I had like Trish Stratus's like her like career like DVD and would watch that like repeatedly. So her and Lita, like the Hardy Boys, all like really big fans of mine.
Yeah. So is that who you kind of pattern yourself after, as far as like your move set is like a Trish or a Lita, or you just kind of want to carve your own style?
I do watch a lot of their stuff for inspiration, especially back then because I feel like all those girls were really good at like the basics and the fundamentals and building off that. I do try to kind of be more athletic. Like even like someone like Molly Holly, like she also does the cartwheel double thing. China did that. So um my goal is I've always wanted to be the type of wrestler who's really like strong and can lift girls up, but can also do like the acrobatic moves. I feel like
Hmm.
having
Okay.
both of those things makes me really unique. Like Victoria too, for example, is someone who I always like kind of myself after.
So I'm assuming that you trained at Bone Crushers your entire time.
Yeah, so summer of 2021, I actually got back into wrestling around like 2020, like during the pandemic. I feel like I kind of like fell out of it, but then I got older. I think kind of rediscovered it from like the women's revolution and stuff, and started watching it, and then I decided I actually kind of really want to do this, and ended up finding Bone Crushers, and then just showed up one day, started training, and been there ever since.
So was it a shock, like taking like your first bump?
Yeah, I mean, I was so nervous, like walking into Bone Crushers. I mean, it's like in the middle of July, so it was just so hot. There's no AC. There's like all these sweaty guys wrestling around. I mean, I remember feeling so intimidated because especially there wasn't a lot of girls around that time either when I started training.
Oh yeah, I guess there wasn't. Was there? There was like two, probably like Selena and Nikki and Big Mama. That was probably it.
Mm-hmm.
But now you have yourself. You have Riley Matthews, last year's PGWA Rookie of the Year, which makes
Yep.
for some really good matches actually. Because I see both you on the ring, and you both kind of outdoing each other. Which makes it fun for us, to watch. Um,
Yeah. We wrestle each other a lot. And I think we also train together a lot. So I feel like me and her are always kind of competitive with one another. Because I feel like because she started just a few months earlier than me.
um, so and you also have, let's see, Anika, and you also have
Yes.
Breezy, who we talked to Breezy last night.
Hmm.
She's on the shelf right now, but I mean she's still got the crutches, so she could still be kind of deadly. Um, you
Oh yeah.
have, you know, Jack Stinger, legitimate army captain, so not one to trifle with. But um,
Yeah.
and so far you've actually, outside of the NWF, you've actually won titles.
Yeah, I had the PWA title for nearly a year. I just lost it last week to Riley Matthews, sadly. Well, yeah, last week was, I mean, I had three shows. I did PWA, NWF in the same day, and then the next day went to New South Wrestling. All three of those matches were all title matches, which is really funny, actually.
Oh, that's what we were talking about last night.
Yeah.
What I say,
Yeah.
Dwaylen?
You said that her tagline should be, I only wrestle championship matches.
It's the only time I'll come out.
Yeah.
Yeah,
There's gold involved. Yeah.
Yeah, there you go.
yeah. Because what match are you involved in at Revolution Rising?
I have the PGWA championship between me and Judy Ray. First time ever. I'm really excited.
And I didn't realize this. I thought maybe Judy Ray was the champion. No, Big Mama, she told us last night that the title has actually been held up because the previous champion had to relinquish it. And so there's going to be a champion crowned that night.
Yeah, so someone's gonna walk home with that title.
Mhm.
And I think Dwayne and I both, since we're very, we're kind of biased towards the NWF, we kind of,
Yeah.
hope that you walk out with it.
Yep. Yep.
Hmm. I will. I expect myself. I think me and Judy are gonna have a really good competitive matchup, and I'm excited to wrestle her since I've seen her in locker rooms, met her before, but we've never wrestled one on one. So I'm
Okay.
really kind of excited to see what we're gonna do.
And what do they call her? The Appalachian what? The Appalachian Superstar, or
Queen, maybe?
do you remember Dwaylen? I can't remember.
I can't remember either. I just remember the Appalachian part, but I don't remember the
Yeah,
other
I know
part.
she's from Kentucky, she was saying.
Okay, so yeah, because last night, Joella, whenever we got done recording, I jumped
Appalachian
on
Queen.
Appalachian Queen. Okay,
Okay.
so I jumped on YouTube to see if I could catch our friends at the Dad World Order because they were, yeah, Savannah. She not only does she wrestle title matches, but she does a lot of podcasts because
Hmm.
she was their guest last night along with Judy Ray.
Okay.
You
Okay.
know, and as soon as you hear Judy Ray speak, oh yeah, she is definitely got that drawl.
Yeah. Honestly,
Um,
I have no idea what she's saying half the time.
well, one of us could probably translate it for you.
Yeah, probably.
Yeah,
Yeah.
sure.
So, um,
I'm an Ohio girl.
so now I've told you before, and I actually also mentioned this last night, that I think you and James Cross actually make a great team.
Mhm.
Because you're always watching out for each other. When he's in the ring, you're out there, watch out for him. He's doing the same thing for you, although it's kind of up in the air whether or not he's going to be able to be there to kind of watch your back Saturday. Um, so he and his bowling shoes may be in the back, just
Oh
kind
yeah.
but um but I do think it's a great pairing. And so how did that come about anyway?
Um, so I think I think before I debuted, I showed interest in also managing because I feel like both of those have like their own art to it. Like there's an art to managing, and I think I need to like kind of work on my confidence and being able to talk more, like kind of coming out. Like so that ended up happening. This is right when um James Cross became James Cross before he was Jimbo. So I
Right.
think it kind of just happened to be like the right time where he was
Hmm.
coming into this new era of James Cross. I was debuting and no one really knew who I was. So this was a good way to kind of establish ourselves
Right.
and just kind of become like a unit.
He impressed us all this past Saturday at Mount Orab when he did a vertical suplex on Rex.
Yeah.
I was just like, holy crap, because
Yeah.
Rex,
Yeah, Rex isn't small, so
no, but um, but yeah, I enjoy watching y'all when you're out there together. The promos, the wrestling, because I mean it does make, if I was an opponent, it would make it harder to beat. Well, I'd be in the ring against James because I'm afraid of you, and so I'd rather fight James. But either way, I mean, that just makes it that much harder, for your opponents, when knowing that you have to kind of watch out for someone, because I mean, you're always going to have somebody to watch your back, and your opponents might
yeah.
not. Um,
And it's not just like the opponents having to watch, like for me, they also have to watch for Jack Phoenix, Bones, like, you never know who's gonna come out.
yeah,
So you always gotta watch your back.
yeah, I forgot about Bones. I haven't seen him as much. I've seen Jack Phoenix,
Hmm.
for a while. Um, yeah, when he was, uh, he was one with the crowd, but then not that long ago, really, he decided he just did not want to be one with the fans anymore. Now
Yeah,
does
he
your
recently came back from an injury as well, so it's been nice to
oh,
see
that's
him
what it
back. Yeah,
okay.
he was gone for a while.
Okay, I was wondering what had happened to him. Um, now you're oh, I guess you'd call it, if there's four of you, you would want to call that a faction.
Yeah.
So we need to come up with a name.
Well, yeah, it's Axis of Powers.
Axis of Powers?
Yes.
How did I miss that? Wayland, how did I
Yeah,
miss
that's
that?
right.
Uh,
Because I watched
Ah,
yeah, they
Bustin'
announce it
Loose, and
sometimes. Yeah.
yeah,
was it a busting loose?
yeah, and they did an interview uh with you and James Cross, and that's
Mhm.
he said it then.
Well, and on Saturday, saw you go against Ella for the title.
Yep.
I was kind of secretly rooting for you, but even though that would meant that you'd be walking into Saturday holding the title, going for another title, but then their title match wouldn't have a title. But now she's Ella and Kayla Cassidy, who kicked her in the face the other day.
I know. I was hoping to win so I could have two
Two
title matches
titles.
at Revolution
Okay.
Rising. I think that would have been interesting. because I
So,
would love to wrestle Kayla too. I think that would be a really cool matchup.
so you're trying to be like Roman Reigns, have like all the belts.
Yeah, I just want to wrestle everyone. I want to prove myself,
There you go. Yep.
you
Oh,
know?
see, um, where all have you wrestled so far? Because I know, obviously Ohio, Kentucky, and Indiana. You confirmed that. Um,
Yeah.
so where all have you traveled? Were you able to make the Canadian trip that the ladies went on?
Yeah, I did go to Canada the first time we all went down last year. That was really early in my career. I remember that.
So how'd you like that?
Yeah, mostly though it's been Kentucky and I'm going out to Indiana a little more, but I do want to start kind of traveling more out more out of the Midwest, but I'm really trying to get out there as much as I can. It's hard.
Well, you know what? If you win the PGWA belt, and I know we're both rooting for you.
Hmm.
You might have to travel down to North Carolina and or something. Because isn't the PGWA headquartered in North Carolina?
Yeah, they are. I would love to come down to North Carolina. I think North Carolina has a lot of great like wrestling opportunities and that'd be really fun. Maybe then I could eventually go face Casey. Maybe.
See, and I'm biased towards North Carolina wrestling because that's where I lived for 15 years
Oh yeah.
before I moved to Kentucky. I met Dwaylen,
Yep.
and but I
That's
mean, I go ahead, Dwaylen.
Carolina's always been a hotbed for pro wrestling anyway.
Mhm.
So
Um, I grew up actually not that far away from the Hardy Boys, um, because there's a chance I could have met them when we were kids because their dad worked with my granddad,
Oh
which is
wow.
weird. Yeah. So, and I have some cousins who actually went to school with them. Um, but just that area, Mid Atlantic wrestling was
Mhm.
always great, and that's what eventually became, WCW. And then they started getting really stupid and ended up getting sold to their competitor. But that's a story
yeah.
for another day. So, but it is nice to see that North Carolina still has that, the nice, good wrestling there. And I know a lot of wrestlers actually they've retired there, or they live there, and um, so if you get a chance to go there, yeah, absolutely take it. Because
Absolutely, yeah.
yeah, um, and so where do you see yourself going? Even beyond Revolution Rising. I mean, what are some of your goals?
Um, some of my wrestling goals, I really want to start wrestling more on TV. With that, like if I can try to get to some bigger places where they are on like Fight TV or something like that, for example. But really, there's so many girls I want to wrestle. I mean, I on my Twitter I made a whole list of female wrestlers that I would love to wrestle, and a lot of them are
We go find
based in the
this.
Midwest because I think I didn't realize how much talent really is in the Midwest once I started wrestling. But it's really kind of like blew up the last few years. But my big thing is I want that experience because I definitely feel like I have so much more to prove. I have a lot to work on, and I think for me to reach that next level, I have to get out of my comfort zone, get out of the Midwest, and kind
Right.
of start wrestling other people, meeting other people, wrestling at different places. But I would love to take wrestling as far as I possibly can. I graduate in 1 year, so I'm hoping once I graduate, I can kind of take wrestling to the next level and really kind of full throttle into it.
And when you say graduate, you're talking about go ahead and let the people know.
I'm in nursing school. I'm entering my senior year in nursing school. I graduate in exactly a year, which is crazy. Balancing both is so freaking hard.
I bet.
But
Yeah.
yeah, I know I started wrestling when I started nursing school because I was like, oh, this might be a fun little hobby to pick up. And I don't know, now I'm in the wrestling world. Now I see like there's just so much to it. It's so easy to kind of get like engulfed in this world.
Hmm.
Wow. So
But I love it.
I'm looking for all these lists of wrestlers that you want to go against, and it seems like there's a ton that keep all
Yeah,
these
I got
different
it
names.
right here.
Go ahead. Who all do you want to wrestle now?
Yeah, so I want to shout out Jada Stone as someone I really want to wrestle. I met her at OVW before. She recently was on DPW. She wrestled this amazing match with Queen Amanada. She's someone I really want to wrestle. She also does like backflipped handsprings, so I think me and her could have a really cool kind of athletic, like gymnastic type of matchup. Um, Marty Bell, she's I think recently moved to Cincinnati. She'll be there this Saturday facing Riley Matthews, but she's also someone that I would love to get in the ring with. Kayla Cassidy, who's also going to be there this Saturday. I think she's made like I think she's done a lot. I think she's made a lot of progress. Trained by Larry D. She's also
Okay.
someone I really want to wrestle. I think I actually might wrestle her soon. And then definitely OVW Women's Champion, Shalance. I love Shalance, the singing diva. There's just a few girls. All Midwest too.
I'd say, yeah, because every single one of those names, I think I recognize them.
Yeah.
Now this Saturday, one of the things we kind of noticed, it does seem like an NWF versus PGWA type
Mhm.
thing. So are you able to put your differences aside with some of the people like a Riley or like an Ella to go cheer for them since they're going against the other company? Or do you say, you know what, I want to see you get your head kicked in regardless?
Um, when it comes to Riley Matthews and Ella, I'm always gonna root for them to get their head kicked off. To
Oh,
be
okay.
completely honest. To completely honest, I wasn't. I think I got cheated out on Saturday by Ella, but if anyone's gonna beat her, I really want to see Kayla Cassidy put her in her place. Same with Riley Matthews. I mean, getting to face someone like Marty Bell, I can't wait for Marty to put Riley in her place and show Riley like you're not as good as you think you are and just get whooped by Marty.
Oh, well, see, this
Yeah.
calm demeanor, all of a sudden, I think I may have gotten a little bit
Yeah.
riled up just then.
Yeah. A little bit. Yeah.
Yeah. Marty just had out like a promo and she said like she's wrestled all around the world. So I mean, she has that experience. So Riley's, I mean, this is gonna be a huge task for her this
Hmm.
Saturday.
I'll be there. I've already got my tickets after we logged off last night, because they
Thank
did
you.
tell me, they're like, hey, the tickets are going fast. You may want to
Yeah.
get them.
Yeah.
And yeah, because last year, I mean, it outgrew the building. They said they had to turn people away, um, because basically fire laws, and that place was packed.
Yeah,
And
that's why for this year we upgraded to a bigger building for the hits at Covington, which is I always like that building too. It's a nice big air conditioned place, which is a plus. But I mean I got family and friends coming, so
really,
I'm really excited. Yeah.
okay. Um, well, I don't know. I'm kind of also partial to the Mount Orab Sports Complex just because I live 10 minutes away.
Hmm.
But that's also, I mean, that's a nice big open area place. But I don't think the parking is the greatest. Well, I don't think that they could handle that many people coming there, just because of the parking situation. Um,
Hmm.
but hits, I mean, it is something else, especially when you see all the pictures of the baseball players all over the place. And
Yeah.
um, and I will say in the men's bathroom there is a picture of Pete Rose.
I would get I would love to see us sell out Saturday too.
Yeah. And wow, the sellout hits. I mean, that's a lot of room to cover, which I think they could do
Hmm.
it. I think very easily, considering the magnitude of this event. Um, so, Dwaylen, do you have any more questions?
No, I think pretty much covered everything. Good luck this Saturday and hope everything goes well and hope you compete in more championship matches and be the belt collector.
Sure.
Yeah, I mean, because and I pointed that out to Big Mom. I'm like, look, I said, if you notice, Savannah only wrestles for titles, and I said, because
Yeah.
think about it, I said she had 3 matches over the weekend,
And
all
they were
three
all
for
championship
titles,
matches.
all
Yeah.
championship matches. I said, and then coming up here, another championship match.
Yeah.
I said, I had to remind her. I was like, when you wrestled up in Chillicothe last, who'd you wrestle? And what was it for? She's like, it was Savannah. And yeah, it was for the title. So,
I love that show in Chillicothe for big time wrestling. I think that was one of the biggest crowds I've ever wrestled in front of. It was amazing.
You
my
should
son and I
win
were,
so many titles that you need someone to carry them to the
Yeah.
ring.
yeah,
James, that's what James is for. James can
There you
come in.
go. There
there
you
you
go.
go.
Yeah.
You
Yeah,
know,
because he's a big guy. He can carry a lot of them.
Mhm.
So yeah.
he's a big guy, you know, who kind of surprised everybody because you can't see the guns because he always wears sleeves. You know, there may be short sleeve, but he always covers up the guns just so he can surprise people. And apparently he's like a martial arts guy too. I had no clue.
Mhm.
You know, so basically it sounds like James is just looking for somebody to start a fight with him. You know, and because then he'll surprise somebody.
Yeah.
We've always been cool though, you know, except for when I try to get him on the show. He said, "Yeah, message me." I message him. Yeah, I don't hear anything. I'm like, "Thanks, dude."
It's like, appreciate it.
And he's like, "Sucker."
Over.
But
He's so busy. He's
yeah,
lifting up Rex over the weekend.
that and I they didn't show that on the Bustin' Loose, I don't think, because
No, I
when
watched
he
it and I didn't see it. Yeah.
oh, when he went to go lift him, I'm thinking, okay, Rex is going to probably revert. Never mind, because he just. I mean, it wasn't like a real quick. I mean, it wasn't a
Yeah.
snap suplex like the British Bulldogs. I mean, it. He had to put a little bit of effort into it, but he got him up and took him over, and I was like, okay, you know. So apparently James Cross is kind of like Cesaro. You know,
Yeah.
he's just got that strength. He can just about do anything. You know, so. Now, do you have any messages you want to pass on to anybody? Any last words? I do have a couple more questions
Um,
before we go, but
I will tell the Appalachian Queen herself, Judy Ray, that she is going to get something sweet this Saturday. And it's gonna be me walking out with the PGWA championship.
There you go.
see, she only wrestles for titles.
Exactly.
Two quick questions. This is what we always ask anybody if they're first time having an interview with us. One, when you're on the road, since you have been doing some traveling, you know, even if it is only to Indiana and making that hour and a half trip from where were you at in Indiana on Saturday, and you had to drive all the way to Mount Orr?
Hillsboro.
Oh, there you go. See, and you had to drive an hour and a half. What was on your playlist when you were driving, or what is normally on your playlist when you're out on road trips?
I love podcasts. I'm a podcast type of gal. So I'm gonna shout out my favorite wrestling podcast. One of my favorite. It's Golden Era podcast. They cover exclusively women's wrestling from 2001 onwards. So it's
Okay.
it's all Trish, Lita, Molly Holly, Victoria, all the girls I grew up and loved. They go week by week on SmackDown and Raw and talk about the girls and what they're up to, and I really enjoy it.
Oh, cool.
Yeah, I was hoping you'd say this was your favorite podcast.
Armchair podcast too, of course. I have listened to.
See, she knows this. She knows Bill Apter renamed us Armchair Podcast.
Yeah.
Did you hear about that? Bill Apter, in fact, it was at Chillicothe. Uh, when I met him, you know, did the whole thing, picture and everything. He said, "Oh, let me do a promo for your podcast." I was like, "Okay." And then he did his thing, and then he called it the Armchair Podcast. And I've been joking with Dwaylen saying Bill Apter called us the Armchair Podcast. We have to change our name now.
Yeah, we got to change it now.
You know, it's no longer Armchair Booking. It's called Armchair.
Oh, really?
Yeah, and so it's Bill Apter. I mean, you know,
Yeah.
because he's
That's
like,
funny.
yeah. And this next question, we really only ask people if they're from like the Cincinnati area, but that includes pretty much everybody we've interviewed just about. Which do you prefer, Gold Star or Skyline?
I like Skyline. I'm a Skyline person.
Has anybody said Gold Star?
No.
I think if you ask Luke Larson, he may say Gold Star.
Everybody
Okay.
we've interviewed has always said Skyline.
Yep. Nobody's chose Gold Star. Roger, he did say he likes all of it. I don't know
Yeah.
if he's
Yeah.
I don't think Roger's that picky.
but most people they come right off Skyline.
Yeah,
Skyline,
it's like
Skyline.
automatically.
You'll
Yeah.
have to get Luke Larson on here because I actually do think he prefers Gold Star. I think we've got an argument over it before.
Okay. Yeah, we'll have to talk. I honestly don't think I've ever actually had a conversation with Luke, even though we're on Facebook together. but yeah, I got some interesting things I'd like to talk to him about anyway. So
There's been a lot of new people I feel like recently in the NWF, like future star wise. A lot of new guys have joined and started debuting. It's really crazy, especially for me to be. I feel like I'm still kind of new, but I look around the locker room. I'm like, no, I've kind of been here like 2 years. Like,
Hmm.
so you feel
it's
like a
great.
wily veteran.
Ugh.
So,
It's that's
Ah,
great. I'm like, oh, sometimes I feel like I'm like, do I know what I'm doing? But I mean, I'm confident.
uh,
I'm confident going into this Saturday. I've been training this week and getting some new moves together, getting some
okay.
ideas. I really want to make it special.
And I just realized, um, you had a piercing that I don't see anymore.
I still have it. I forget to put it in, but reminded me. I'm gonna put it in after before it closes. It's just something that I take out sometimes.
mm,
Yeah, because when I was always thought that, man, that's dangerous. Any kind of, I see anybody with a piercing, even if it's just ears being pierced and they're wrestling. I'm like, to me, I mean, because both my ears are pierced, even though I haven't worn earrings in like 8 years. I'd be afraid somebody would reach up and even if it
mhm.
was an accident and yank them out. So, uh, but that's
That
just
is what my
me.
fear is.
But that's just me. So,
That
uh,
hasn't happened to me yet. I remember the only thing crazy that's ever happened to me in a wrestling ring is I think the last time I wrestled Elle at Mount Orb like a year ago, I did a backflip and I think she was a little too close to me. And I believe I broke my pinky and it like was like stuck and I had to like
Mhm.
snap it
You
back
had
into
to pop
place.
it, but yeah.
ugh,
And ever since then, I feel like it still kind of hurts.
Mm.
ah,
The
but
worst thing,
you know what? You training to be a nurse, you've probably seen worse. So,
for sure. I'm gonna put my septum in now.
oh, there we go,
There we
Joellen.
go.
This is a first.
Yep.
We've never had anybody. Yeah, right there on
Yay.
the
There
show.
it is. Yep.
Um, and they now want to get the 9-volt battery and just see.
Yeah, like not even being a nurse, just being backstage at NWF, I've seen James Cross get his head busted open by
Really?
Prodigy. Um,
Oh,
yeah, he busted his head open on the concrete wall. And then I think this past Saturday, Mount Orb, Jaeger Wood got split open by a nasty forearm, and I had to
oh,
bandage him up. So
oh. Well, I think Noah may have kind of gotten revenge for you. Since he got Kobe from he attacked him and then slammed his head into the cage down in Covington.
yeah,
So there you go. Of Noah,
that's another messy breakup.
yeah, that was kind of messy. Yeah. Um, yeah.
I like it.
So, yeah, but Dwaylen's all
Yeah,
for it.
I can't blame Noah because I mean, Kobe's supposed to be his tag team partner, and he really hasn't been acting as a team. So I think Noah just put things, you know, had to put
Exactly.
it
He
into
just
that. Yeah, he
it's
put
like,
things, yeah,
yeah, he had
Well,
enough. So
I
it's
mean,
like,
put it into his
yeah,
own hands.
we're gonna have to get Nasty Noah on the show.
yeah, yeah,
Yeah,
yeah. I'm
Because
loving. Yeah, I'm loving heel Noah.
because
So
I was ringside when that happened when he came out,
oh,
attacked
you were.
Kobe
That's
from
right.
behind, threw the water on him. I mean, I
yeah,
was just
yeah.
as
I saw.
shocked. Yeah,
Oh, so but all right. Well, thank you for coming on. We really
Yes.
appreciate it.
Thank you
Uh,
very much.
we've
thank
been telling
you.
everybody if you were in the Cincinnati area this Saturday, make your way down to Hits down in Covington to go catch NWF Women's Revolution Rising #2 Queens of the Midwest. If you're not in Cincinnati this weekend, make your way to Cincinnati anyway
Yeah.
and head down to Covington to go catch Savannah Sweet. Once again, she only wrestles for titles. I'm going to put that, by the way, in the title of this episode. Savannah Sweet, she only wrestles for titles.
Yeah.
There you go.
So, but thank you, ma'am, for coming on. We really do appreciate it. Um,
Yes. Thank you very much. We really do appreciate it.
yep. So, obviously, you're invited to come
Thank
back
you.
anytime you want. And, um, and the next time, of course, everybody will know who you are, so we can go into even more questions, and we can
Hmm.
discuss everything that's happened since the last time you've been on, which is now, obviously. So and congratulations being the first person to ever put a septum ring in on the show. That's a first. So, and see if anybody
It's a
can top
talent.
that. That's a talent. I mean, if
Yep.
I'd tried, I'd end up
No.
poking my eye out somehow. So, but I will see you on Saturday. You know,
Good
so
luck.
yep, good luck in your match. Well, we are pulling for you. You know, so I just got to say, see you.
Thank
Good
you.
night, and God
Make
bless.
sure to wish Judy
God
good luck
bless.
because she's gonna need all the luck in the world to beat me.
You know what? I think I went and followed her on Twitter, and I'll have to tell her, hey, good luck. I mean, we're pulling for Savannah because we know her.
Hmm.
But until Saturday, my
That's right.
friend,
I'm the
we'll
best.
say
Of course.
goodbye.
Bye.
See ya.